The company dinner was supposed to be ordinary, where everyone smiled for photographs and pretended their careers were perfect. My wife, Emily, sat beside me, laughing with coworkers while I quietly watched the room that night. Then Daniel, her closest coworker, walked over with a smug expression. He leaned toward me and asked, "How does it feel?" His tone carried something ugly beneath the words. I looked at him, smiled, and raised my glass. "Feels fine," I replied. Daniel chuckled, expecting me to react. What he didn't know was that I had already seen the messages, photographs, and calendar entries. For weeks, Emily had been acting differently. She guarded her phone, changed passwords, and suddenly had endless reasons to stay late at the office. Whenever I asked, she called it stress. I wanted to believe her because trusting my wife had always been easier than imagining betrayal. Then one night, her phone lit up while she was showering. A message from Daniel appeared. He still suspects nothing. My hands went cold. I didn't open the conversation immediately. Instead, I took a picture of the notification. Later, I checked our shared account and found unexplained restaurant charges, hotel payments, and purchases. I could have confronted Emily that night, but something stopped me. I wanted the complete truth, not another excuse, before reacting. Over the next several days, I documented everything I could legally access. Receipts, messages she voluntarily left visible, and dates she had given me for supposed meetings. The pattern became impossible to ignore. Daniel wasn't just flirting with my wife. They had been seeing each other for months. What hurt most wasn't the romance itself. It was how confidently they had treated me like a fool. Still, I stayed completely calm. I needed one piece before making any decision. That piece arrived during the company dinner that evening. Before Daniel approached me, I noticed him whispering with Emily. She looked nervous, while he looked almost amused. When he returned to the table, he leaned toward me and asked, "How does it feel?" I understood exactly what he meant. He believed he had won something. Maybe he thought Emily had chosen him, or perhaps he wanted to humiliate me. I smiled because I knew something he didn't. I had received confirmation from a lawyer that the evidence was enough to protect my finances and future completely. Daniel still knew nothing. After dinner, I didn't argue with Emily in the parking lot. I drove home while she talked about the evening. Once we entered the house, I placed a folder on the kitchen table quietly. Emily opened it and froze. Inside were printed statements, photographs, and copies of messages that showed her relationship with Daniel. Her face changed instantly. "Where did you get these?" she whispered. I answered, "The same place you thought I would never look." She began crying and insisted there was an explanation. I shook my head. "There may be explanations, Emily, but there are no excuses anymore." Then I told her I wasn't asking for a confession, because the evidence already spoke for itself. I was asking whether she wanted to end our marriage honestly or continue lying until everything became uglier. Emily sat silently before admitting the affair started after Daniel told her I was emotionally distant. She claimed she regretted it, but her words sounded rehearsed. I didn't insult her or threaten Daniel. I told her that betrayal had consequences. She asked if we could repair things. I said I didn't know, because trust wasn't something she could demand back overnight. The next morning, Daniel called me. His confidence from the dinner had disappeared. He apologized and said he never intended to hurt me. I reminded him that he had stepped into my marriage and mocked me about it. He asked what I planned to do. I told him that my decisions were between Emily, myself, and our lawyers. His voice became quiet. Later, Emily told me Daniel had promised her a future together, but now he was avoiding her calls. That realization broke something inside her. For the first time, she understood that choices made secretly still carried consequences. Months later, I realized the biggest victory wasn't exposing Daniel or watching Emily regret her choices. It was refusing to let their betrayal decide who I became. Emily and I eventually separated, and the process was painful, but peaceful. I rebuilt my routine, reconnected with friends, and stopped blaming myself for someone else's decisions. I never learned whether Daniel truly loved her or simply enjoyed the secrecy behind everything. Whenever I remembered his question at that dinner, "How does it feel?" I smiled again. He thought I was embarrassed. The truth was simple. I was calm because, for once, I knew everything.